Hi guys, and welcome to part two of the actual 7 month pregnant destination Chicago. So now they've tried every port in San Diego County, which included San Diego, San Isidro, and Otay pedestrian. I don't know if they ever tried Tecate because it's in the middle of nowhere, so it'd be kind of too small to actually try to cross. So uh, what they did attempt was down in Calexico by Mexicali. They attempted to actually get this female across. So as this actual journey is going along, also is what's also getting higher is the actual amount that they actually do for this type of crossing. So, the more detail, the more problems, the more they're going to charge you. You know what I mean? And what are you going to do? Say no? What are you going to do? Complain to who? Right? So now they go over to Calexico and they have a successful evening actual crossing. Okay, she's accompanied by an escort, a male. I don't know if they cross together or if they cross separate. I don't know the deal, but she's escorted, making sure she doesn't walk away, right? So they hop on a commercial bus and are bound for San Diego station in downtown San Diego, bus station. And so along the way, they have to actually cross a checkpoint on the Highway 8 on the way in from the desert, already above the grade, already on San Diego County actual territory. So once they get to that checkpoint, it was almost middle of the morning, so about 3 or 4 in the morning, I believe. And their luck, it's closed. If not, the agent would have actually accessed the bus or actually had everybody come off the bus and search their luggage, search if they have a K9, run the K9. If they have search documents, search whatever they need to actually investigate. So it's closed. So they continue their voyage, and she gets to downtown San Diego at about midday, calls uh, her family, let them know that what's going on and everything, and for him to be ready to receive her, right? To receive her. And since it's been an actual, I think, almost a month that they've tried to actually cross her, the family has been like with hopes, and then no, then they're let down with hopes, and then they're let down. So when they actually receive a call that she's actually in San Diego, they're pretty excited. So now there's only one more checkpoint to actually clear. That's the actual either if you're going to go to LA on the 5 on the Coast Freeway, San Clemente checkpoint, or the Temecula checkpoint, which is on the Riverside side. So they're both manned and they are very well. They know their stuff. These agents, they are at them checkpoints for a reason, and for one reason only. They have talent. Okay, even though the checkpoint's closed, they can still pick out load vehicles just by the reaction of the drivers getting caught by surprise, driving along the freeway before the checkpoint or even after the checkpoint. These guys got talent, let me tell you. Okay. For example, just as you're riding along either the freeway or a street and you're speeding, and all of a sudden you see a police car or a motorcycle to either your right or your left flank, you you are going to be jumpy. You're gonna get startled, and you're gonna be like, "Damn!" And you're gonna jump just by that actual action. Boom, they'll pull you over. And that's how easy it is. But it's just human nature for you to jerk, for you to be startled. It's just human. That's the way it is. So, um, she she is actually dropped off there at that actual downtown bus terminal, and now the person who's gonna do the last actual step, last jump, actually has to take her to her family on the actual Riverside area. Okay? That actual highway. But it's only one person, and being pregnant, driven by a male or even a female, it would be no big deal. It wouldn't actually uh, arise any actual red flags, you know. So she's actually taken up there in the evening and before 8 o'clock, and they get through the actual the checkpoint. Nothing to see here, so everything was cool. Past that, they actually make the journey towards Riverside, and they get to the actual her brother's actual home. And now, um, the actual person who did the last jump is going to have to collect a pretty good amount of money. I should say, pretty good amount of money. And now they're there, and the driver uh, is actually welcomed into the home. Was able to use the restroom, um, maybe have a drink, a little snack because she's gonna be eating when she gets there because she's pregnant. It's just a whole Mexican, the whole hospitality thing, And most likely they were actually ready for him and her too. So they had something ready, and so uh, they're actually um, waiting for the actual female to get there first before they go and get the actual money from MoneyGram or either a Western Union type of actual money sender, And so they communicate with the husband in Chicago, and he tells her that he has not put the money in either or MoneyGram or actually Western Union. He has not put the money in. By the way, this is a Saturday evening now, okay? It's getting close to 8 o'clock. Saturday evening, and nothing. He hasn't put any money in yet, and tells him he has to wait till the next morning. And is actually able to that Saturday evening put that money into a Western Union. So now that money is already on the Western Union books. Of course, it's after 10 now. By the time everything gets worked out, 10 in the evening, I should say. So the actual person taking that had was assigned to do the last step. He calls back and tells the actual the main one, hey, no dice, man, no money here. And you can imagine the bad words he would say on the phone, you know what I mean? And he said, hey, bring her back. Throw her in your truck, bring her back, forget about it. Bring her back. That driver is going to get compensated. He did what he needed to do. He put money in on his own for his gas, for his vehicle use, for his time. They're going to take care of him. It's going to come off the main one's actual pocket, but, he'll have enough to go around, And and honestly, the people who actually made this happen, they'll all get taken care of. Not as big as they would have if they would have got successfully paid uh, the original money that they agreed to, right? But something. So he's instructed to actually send her back and make sure she is walked down and crossed into Mexico. And these guys are serious. These guys are serious. These guys are not here to scare you. These guys are not here to actually uh, uh, make you change your mind or anything. No, no. These guys are whatever is said. It is gonna be the actual last word. So this actual driver tells her brother, "Hey man, they want me to take her back." And now he's like, "Man, I can't believe this." And he's putting on his brother-in-law because he should have known that he's had more than plenty enough time to actually get this whole thing together. You know what I mean? And he did not. So now he's actually he's put in a bad space. And you know what? And the brother-in-law, I mean the actual her brother, uh, he knew what time it was. He knew what time it was, and he knew that they were in the wrong, And and he apologized to the actual driver and said, you know what, the money's in Western Union, so they looked it up at the actual uh, by the phone. This is before the actual internet was big, you know what I mean? So you actually would have to call and find out what the location. The location was by zip code, and the automated teller told them that it was like 2 towns over in the desert. And so they went to an actual Circle K, I think, or 7-Eleven. I forget, one of them two entities. And they said, "Oh, do you have this so and so money, delivery service?" They said, "Yeah, we sure do." And they said, "Okay, good." And he hands them over a ticket, and he's like, "I can't even come up with this kind of money at this hour. I don't have access to the actual safe." And that is correct. He does not have access to that safe. And yeah, he can give you maybe like $150, but you're talking about thousands. So there's no way he can actually go into his safe because he doesn't have the actual resources or the actual the key and the combination to open up that safe to give him the thousands of dollars that's actually being transferred. So basically, they're closed of business till the next following morning, right? So that didn't work out. So now the driver is made with that decision to actually send him back. The driver's not going to spend money in a hotel for the next morning. He's not going to do that. And he has other responsibilities and he needs to get home too. So this driver, he has a heart to heart with the brother, you know what I mean? And the brother basically says, man, he goes, I'm just doing this for my sister, you know what? And I wish I could just walk away from this, but I can't because it's her. And he was honest, you know what I mean? And that driver said, you know what, man? It has to be done tomorrow morning, but it has to be done early because they're expecting either to see her walk down south or for the money. And basically, the driver spent the night in their home. How inconvenient! I mean, her brother had a family there along with children, man. And now the stranger's gonna be staying there, and the stranger with contacts that are not very good people. You know what I mean? You don't know if he's a thief. You don't know anything about this actual driver, but yet he has to actually spend the night there. And the driver's not ready to spend the night anywhere. He's in his clothes from regular day. He doesn't have a toothbrush. He doesn't have anything for hygiene like that either. And but if he has to use the restroom, how uncomfortable is that? And that's the thing that he has to be ready for. He has to be ready for the unconventional. And now he is spending the night in the actual people's homes. Morning comes. Oh, by the way, the wife of the actual brother. Ooh, man, she was hot. Apparently, he couldn't get the money for some reason. He probably didn't have documents, but now she has to collect the money. Now she is irate because she has to provide her ID and she has to actually provide actual paperwork that's tracked to this actual money for this illegal transaction. She doesn't want to be in the middle of this. Who does, right? So she had the face. I can only imagine what her face was, but the way it was described to me, it was heated. It was heated, and she was pissed. She was pissed that he had to spend the night there. He was pissed that she had actually put her name out there. So the morning comes, and they go to the actual money store, or whatever it's called, and then now they actually collect the money, and everybody goes their separate ways. And that's how the story ends. If you're made it to Chicago, she said, "I gotta get on a flight." It's pre 9/11, so they can. I don't know if you had to provide any kind of. If she had a Mexican passport, she could use that. It doesn't matter. The airline is not INS, so immigration services. So they just have to honor that actual passport as an ID, and they can fly. They can use to fly anywhere in the United States with that Mexican passport, stamped or not stamped. And but things have changed now post 9/11, so that's something to consider. And I guess she finally made it to her destination and was reunited with her husband. But that's just another scenario that we actually had to actually consider and deal with sometimes, you know. And I wouldn't want to be any of them family members or actually that pregnant girl, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it was her first kid or not, but it was actually it had to be a rough one, you know, and stressful at that, you know. All right, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.